Morning to all, and good afternoon for those who are joining us from the Netherlands. My name is Alison Paez, and I am part of the Holland House team in Colombia. We welcome you to this showcase and roundtable on Dutch solutions for port digitalization and automation in Colombia, organized by the Embassy of the Kingdom of the Netherlands here in Bogota, DNP, ANDI, STC International, and Holland House Colombia. Before we start our roundtable, I would like to remind you that the translation option will be enabled throughout the session. To access to it, you must click on the Zoom toolbar and choose the Spanish or English channel. We recommend you that our panelists should stay on the English channel, while our guests should stay on the Spanish channel. Please bear in mind that the translator is the only one who changes channels. Neither the panelists nor our special guest should change the channel at any time. We also ask our panelists to consider speaking a little bit slowly so that the translation is efficient. And please keep in mind that our team will screen your presentations. During the first stage of our roundtable, our select group of Dutch companies will present their solutions, their products or services to all our Colombian guests related to the port and logistics sector. Later, we will open the discussion space for any questions or comments you may have. So please do not hesitate to put your questions and comments on our chat. Throughout all the presentations, you can ask the questions in the language of your choice. That said, it is a pleasure to open this session with the welcome remarks by the Minister Counselor of the Dutch Embassy in Colombia, Caroline Remarks.
Thank you very much, Alison. Thank you very much to the Holland House team for this organization of this roundtable, and of course, thank you very much to Andy, DNP, STC International. I think we have made a good group together to make this happen. Yo voy a continuar en español, si está bien, o yo no puedo cambiar de idioma.
Sí. You can do it in Spanish if you would.
Okay. Bueno, mi nombre es Carolina Ramacas y soy la jefe de la sección económica de la Embajada del Reino de Países Bajos aquí en Colombia. Es un gusto acompañarles el día de hoy, así sea de manera virtual, en esta mesa redonda sobre soluciones holandesas para la digitalización y automatización portuaria. La mesa redonda es organizada por los actores que yo ya mencioné, Holland House, STC International, Andy, DNP, y con apoyo de la embajada. Y yo creo que es muy oportuno ahora. Los puertos tienen un rol clave y fundamental para mantener la economía y proveer los productos críticos en tiempos de COVID. Pero es claro también que el proceso marítimo en los puertos de hoy se ha vuelto cada vez más complejo. Y suavizar estos procesos en los puertos y hacerlos digital es clave para ser un puerto competitivo y un puerto más sostenible. Colombia ya tiene, por supuesto, muchos puertos en la costa caribeña y la costa pacífica, y por eso es una manera muy importante de fortalecer la logística dentro de Colombia y con los países vecinos y en todo el mundo. Y Colombia ya tiene iniciativas interesantes como un Startup Accelerator y otras iniciativas en los puertos de Cartagena, Barranquilla y Buenaventura. Yo creo que con el grupo de actores que ya mencioné, en el marco de la colaboración colombiana-holandesa, hemos tenido una muy buena secuencia de actividades en el tema de digitalización portuaria en Colombia. Tenemos el estudio reciente sobre digitalización portuaria en la región de la América Latina. Tenemos los cursos que se ha dado a algunos actores colombianos. Yo creo que algunos de ustedes asisten ahora también. Y en el próximo año, en marzo 2021, organizaremos una misión digital a Perú y Colombia sobre desarrollo portuario también. Entonces, es para que ustedes lo sepan que podría ser una otra oportunidad de fortalecer la relación y conocer las oportunidades en Colombia. Pero hoy lo más importante es compartir las soluciones de las empresas holandesas en estos temas. En Países Bajos ya tenemos bastante experiencia. El puerto de Rotterdam, por ejemplo, fue el segundo puerto más inteligente del mundo en 2019, según el Smart Port Index. Entonces, yo estoy muy curiosa y muy orgullosa de tener 7 empresas holandesas aquí con nosotros que van a compartir sus experiencias y sus soluciones. Seguramente va a ser una mañana muy fructífera y muy informativa, y entonces yo quiero agradecerles mucho y yo les deseo mucha suerte el día de hoy. Muchas gracias, Alison.
Thank you, Caroline, very much. Now I would like to give the word to Silvina Pereira, Manager of STC for Latin America, as Mr. Albert Boss couldn't join us today, but very welcome, Silvina.
Thank you very much, Alison. Well, good morning and good afternoon, everybody. Buenos días, muy buenas tardes. Voy a continuar en inglés porque me había preparado un poquito en inglés, así que, bueno. On behalf of the STC International team, welcome to this showcase and roundtable, Dutch solutions for port digitalization and automation in Colombia. Thank you very much, Caroline, for joining us today. I also like to express our gratitude to you and to the Dutch Embassy in Bogota for making today's event a reality. I also like to give a very warm welcome to the Dutch companies participating today. Welcome representatives of Port of Rotterdam, TBA, TechPlay, Port Excel, Portbase, Terberg Global Equipment Americas, and Port Exchange. And also a very warm welcome to the public from the public and private sector in the port sector in Colombia for joining us today. This showcase and this roundtable is a culmination of a cycle of 3 activities, like Caroline was mentioning. These activities have been sponsored by the Dutch Embassy in Bogota and by the organization ANDI. The previous activities were 2 short courses, one on port automation and one on port digitalization. Our experts are joining us also during this event, experts who conducted the course from STC International. So if there may be any questions for them, they are more than welcome. And well, today is the crystallization of these 2 courses, and of course, a very complementary activity to the study Port Digitalization LATAM, which we have executed together, like Caroline was also mentioning, together with Holland House, upon request of the Regional Development Team LATAM, Latin America. So now, I don't want to take more time because I want all the time for the Dutch companies and all the time for the Colombian participants for their questions. So I wish you a very successful roundtable and showcase. And Alison, let's start.
Thank you very much, Caroline and Silvina, for these kind words to our guests and Dutch companies. Now, we start with the presentation of our 7 Dutch companies that are with us today. We kindly ask you to be precise with the time, so we have enough time for our Q&A session. That said, as I give the word to Mr. Patrick Hummers of the Port of Rotterdam. Patrick.
Yes, thank you very much, Alison. Thank you all for the participation. I will share my screen with you. One moment. Share, and first of all, apologies for not having a camera access. I do not have camera access on this laptop, so apologies for that. Let's start. We have just 8 minutes. Maybe good to introduce myself. My name is Patrick Hummers, working for the Port of Rotterdam International as advisor digital development. And the objective of this 8-minute pitch is to show you the digital background of the Port of Rotterdam, the background of port community system in Rotterdam, the next generation of a port community system, and the successes we have in Rotterdam. So basically, I thought that's the most important things to discuss. We start by innovating together. That's especially something that we believe in Rotterdam, and we think it's very important, is to be the smartest port in the world. And we can be the smartest port by being very efficient, very safe, and being a sustainable port. But we cannot do this by ourselves. So we need the industry and working together with all parties involved. So, for example, the shipping lines, terminals, pilots, operators, shippers, and freight forwarders as well. So we need to do this together. For that, what we did in Rotterdam is creating a step-by-step approach towards the digital port. So quick to summarize, in level 0, you don't have any automation in your port. Then you want to eliminate the waste for the port authority. So that's the first objective then. So this could be by ERP systems, for example, billing systems, but also on CRM. So this is the individual automation. Then you want to eliminate waste for the port community. And then this becomes very interesting, also for South American ports, because that's what we discussed last week, that you want to eliminate waste for the whole port community and connect and integrate systems for instance, for terminals, shipping lines, and also with the inland parties. So, for example, where's your container? If you want to track and trace your container, that's a step. And then you want, what we believe in Rotterdam being a smart port is a connected port, and setting up connections with other port community systems worldwide. So that's on my next slide. You will see how this look like, how we see when the port community system becomes involved, and that's in this phase, in the second phase of the automation. Then we have the background of the port community system, where it all starts, and why do we have it in Rotterdam, and why is it very important for other ports around the world? And that is because you have a lot of improvement by efficiency, via exchange, via a centralized platform. All parties can exchange their data in a secure manner, and can approve parties who can see the data and exchange information and reduce all the phone calls and emails, what we have a lot. So I will, later in the presentation, I will show you how much we saved in Rotterdam on cost and reduction of phone calls and communication. And the most important is to reduce waste and increase optimal efficiency for the port community as well. So this is how we see the port community system in Rotterdam on the right hand here, the right circle what we have. So we connected the terminals, the barges, tugs, shipping lines, agents, customs, etc. to the port community system. But more important is to connect also to global developments. So, for example, to developments like port exchange to optimize port calls, but also with forwarders and blockchain technology. So it's important to have a port community system which interacts also with the global developments. So what we believe, we really believe in Rotterdam in the next generation port community system. And that's what we have developed, which is called Port Insider in Rotterdam. The port community system we support to other ports. And there are 4 major or important pillars to say that the port community system should be a software as a service, a SaaS solution, worry-free license model, where ports can benefit from all the modules that we created, and continuous improvements of the system as well. So we have the generic modules which are proven in the biggest ports, for instance, what we have in Rotterdam. What's also important is that the data owner is central in the port community system, so they can give access to parties involved. And what I mentioned in the slide before, that you can connect to global developments. And that's basically the most important if you want to have a port community system ready for the future, that you can easily connect to global developments. So this is the last slide of the presentation, maybe the important slide, and that shows you the benefits we have in Rotterdam. And this is, of course, not the benefits what you will have directly for your port, of course. That depends on the amount of volumes, ships and parties involved within the port community system. But what we see and what we have calculated is that the added value is over 245 million euros for companies within our ecosystem. That we reduce a lot of phone calls by 30 million, 100 million emails, also reduction of truck kilometers. That's by transparency and having an open system, and that we have 50 services based on our port community system. So, for example, I mentioned also track and trace of containers, but also on port call optimization, port optimization opportunities and developments. So I'm very happy to share this with you. And I'm excited to the questions you have later in the Q&A session for the port community system. So thank you, Alison, and thank you all for listening.
Thank you very much for your complete intervention, Patrick. Now I would like to give the floor to the representative of TBA Group, Guilherme. The floor is yours.
Hi, good afternoon and good morning for everyone. First of all, of course, thank you very much for the opportunity of being here. Holland House and STC made a very good effort on organize everything in the Dutch Embassy in Colombia too. I want to just make sure that the presentation is running already, because I'm not sharing from here, right? You're starting from there at the
Can you see the
I'm
screen?
still on Rotterdam presentation.
Sorry.
Because Patrick is still sharing his screen. I think that's the need to change.
Can you see now the screen?
No, we still see the Port of Rotterdam presentation.
Yes, you at Patrick's
How
screen.
can
I think Patrick
stop video? I will stop.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, does it work for you?
No, it's still. I think you have to stop sharing the screen. Beneath the little button on the bottom.
Yeah.
The green one.
The green one. Oh, stop sharing. Yeah. Stop. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to share the screen, Guilherme.
No, now I think STC is going to run the presentation from there. It will be easier. Very good. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you. So thank you very much for the organization and the opportunity of offer to be here in this important event. For this event, we prepared a short version of our company of TBA and the portfolio that we bring to say support and help this process of digitalization and automation into ports, terminals, and warehouses. My name is Guilherme. I'm the regional director of TBA for Latin America area. And you can go to the next slide, please.
Just give me a second, please.
Yep, thank you. So in a really short view, TBA is a Dutch company. It's originated in the 90s. It's located still today in Delft. They have more than 20 years of operation right now. Basically supporting terminals who have the challenge of improve their operations, increase their automation levels and the performance in terms of since from the beginning of this stage or the design phase of the terminal up to implementations of new routines and operation of their own terminals. There's more than 250 terminals already attended by one of our solutions and products, and more than 2,500 projects worldwide. So now it's really a global company. We operate in all over the places. And here in Latin America, we do have a relevant presence in Brazil, Chile, Peru, and also some projects in Colombia too. So now we have two videos to show. One is as I said, is a short version of our portfolio. So I'll try to explain during the video to gain time of this presentation. And the second one is a business case that we bring it to the event. Please, next one. Next slide, please. I think there is a small delay on that, but the portfolio of TBA is what is being presented in this video is formed by basically operational systems. So we do have systems who help operate terminals of container, break bulk, general cargo, and also bulk. So the entire, say, portfolio of cargo operated in terminals. The most relevant thing is that TBA could help for the entire life cycle of a terminal. So since the early stage of the design up to the implementation phase of a solution and optimization phase during operation, TBA has a solution or service or product to implement at the terminal. I think it's paused. And yeah, you could just jump for the second video, but that's fine. And what happens is this video is for one of the customers. One business case that I would like to use as an example of our approach in the market.
My name is Anthony Otto, and I'm the president of Long Beach Container Terminal. About 10 years ago, the port came to us and asked us if we wanted to participate in what's commonly referred to as the Middle Harbor Redevelopment Project. From its inception all the way through operation, I've kind of been the project leader. TBA was there as really the leading company in the area of simulation. Of course, simulation is important to be able to prove and refine your designs, and clearly they had more experience in that field than anybody. TBA was there to assist with on-site support and off-site support.
Hello, I'm Josh Johnson with Long Beach Container Terminal. I'm the Operations Development Manager. This is a collaborative process. We require the hardware to work, the software to work, the TOS to work, even the people. Even in an automated world, we can't get away from people. So we worked with TBA to help design what we needed, and I think that I can speak for me and my team that we definitely trust the system every day. So it's definitely a team effort that we continue to push forward. And one of the biggest pieces of software was Teams from TBA, and I use that software as the ECF, the equipment control software. It sits in between the people and in between the machines to pick proven software with a track record that was going to get us where we needed to go.
But this is a Teams facility, and Teams controls, and even the simulation, nobody knows the software and simulation and the Teams software kind of go hand in hand. So I wouldn't entrust that to anyone other than TBA, to be honest. We had a unique situation here in that we have large vessels that produce very high move counts. which really lends itself to be able to maximize the use of multi-lift capability. Since operating now for over 2 years, it's been the path of, first stabilization and then getting productivity up to what is an acceptable level. And then probably over the last year, it's been really tuning the machine or going through the optimization phase. So from the beginning, just through the simulation process, the refining of the design of the facility, the decisions on the size of the fleet that was necessary, all the way through the development, all the way to going live finally, and now operating for 2 years. TBA has been there from the beginning up until now, and we have every intention to keep that partnership going into the future.
Very good. So I hope you could listen to the video. I'm not sure how was the streaming of it. For me, it was okay. But what is important to highlight on that, this is a case that we as TBA supported since the very beginning. So in the design phase and from there up to the implementation, operation, and optimization towards this automation process on port and terminals. It's very important to have tools and solutions that are proven to give you the view that you need and try to help to get that results, and that's what we can offer to the market. Well, this is all for now. I'm hoping to have the questions and more than happy to answer all the doubts that raised, and I hope to have contributed to the event with this short presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Guillem. We really appreciate your presentation. Now we continue with Leon Gomars on behalf of TechPlay. Leon.
Yes. Can you switch the screens again to, well, thank you first of all for the opportunity to present. Really looking forward to move our business also to the Latin market. But let me first start about, tell a bit, the presentation coming, yeah.
I already have shared the screen there.
Okay, cool. So my name is Leon Gommans. I'm from TechPlay, one of the founders. And TechPlay is all about efficient marine planning and port operations. And we do that by offering enhanced and trusted and shared visibility. If we look at port calls, there is a lot of inefficiency going on. And this was an opportunity we saw, like information, digitization, automation really can help in improving and bringing it to the next level. Next slide, please. A bit more about TechPlay. We were founded in 2015 by myself and Richard van Klaveren, Rotterdam-based. So we know a lot about the port of Rotterdam, about the Yara ports, about the European ports. We're currently in the phase of scaling up and going global with a team of 25 people. And ever since the start, we have been profitable and making money by delivering value to our clients. This based on this visibility and innovating, finding the ways to really make value out of it. If I really need to very shortly say like what we are, I always say mention like we are a context broker. We provide our clients with information about the real-time maritime supply chain that enables informed decision making. That makes it able for you, based on the information you have, to make a better informed decision. Currently, we have quite some strategic partnerships going on in the container terminals with Cargotec Nevis. We're working very closely in the wet bulk sectors with Vopak and Shell, and in the dry bulk with Yara, all global players. And that's also why we believe that bringing the visibility that we have should be brought to the global scale. So our ambition is global rollout of these services, and we're focusing basically on two strategies for that. Hub ports as a first step, and also supporting the networks of our clients. Next slide, please. So to get an idea of what types of services we are offering, customer portfolio, if you have a close look, you will see basically that we are servicing the main actors within the port call, being the port authorities, being the terminals, and being the shipping lines, and all of them giving the visibility that is required to enhance the decision-making process. But of course, parties like agencies or suppliers or service providers within this port call are also in need of this information. And for those, we also have quite some relevant services. Next slide, please. Maybe I can tell a lot, but I think it is good to also see like what are clients seeing in us, what are we bringing to the table, and the words that jump out of it are like it are working solutions, is this real-time part, and effectively challenging of addressing the issues that are happening. So it's the understanding of what is happening within a port call, it's the agility to deliver, and it's actually the ability to create value within it. And again, you see like also certification bodies like DNVGL, the shipping lines, the terminals, and that are part of the cargo owners in that respect. All are in need of this visibility to improve their operations. Next slide, please. So what is it that we do? What we bring to the table is actually this consistently faster and more efficient marine planning and port operations by collecting loads of information that is publicly available. Add to that like the information that is available at clients, these public services, and with all kinds of smart technologies like machine learning and AI, really bring that information that is required to enhance your decision-making process, visibility, actionability of the data, and effectively also supporting the collaboration in that part. Next slide, please. So let's zoom in a bit on a couple of the solutions that we have. Terminal operators and ports. What type or what building blocks or what components are we bringing to the table? A lot of it, of course, has to do with like you need to have a plan on what you are going to execute. This planning can either be taken from the planning systems from a terminal, but we also have building blocks and components that actually take care of this planning. And if you've got this plan, you actually want to be able to continuously monitor this plan and have an idea of what is going on. Are we still able to make it? And it's also nice to have a plan, but are things actually going to happen the way you should think they are going to happen? If the vessel turns out late at a quay, you would like that to know upfront. So predictions is a key component in that. And of course, many of the things that are happening with the volumes and the value that is related to the trade flows, it becomes key to have the relevant timestamps available within these processes and to be able to report those timestamps to the clients. And once you have this all digitized, automated, of course, you also can very closely monitor your KPIs and your performance of what is actually happening. And this value is brought to terminal operators, but also for a port authority to get an overview actually about all the actors that are involved within the port call. Next slide, please. For shipping lines, same type of building blocks that they would like. It's about finding the right cargo for the vessels that you have, the matching issue that is at the table. Fleet intel on what is actually happening all over the place. Having insight in port performance, having insight in lineups on what is actually happening at a port. If I arrive, am I the first one to be called in, or is there still a lineup going on? And again, shipping lines are mostly not active in the port they are visiting, but in different ports. So reporting and timestamps are key really to run their operations more efficiently. Next slide. And one level deeper, once you've got this information, as we all know, port call operations is really a collaborative game. It has many stakeholders that are actively involved, and because we are monitoring, we actually can service all those stakeholders involved in a port call with the right information to enhance their decision making. Next slide. So what are we bringing to the table? It's a platform that is enabling the consistently faster and more efficient marine planning and port operations through the shared visibility. I think the key distinguishing point is that we actually are delivering insights and value from the first day, that we actually are able to directly capture this value based on information that is currently already available and accessible, and already start delivering value to our clients. I thank you very much for having the opportunity. Next slide, but thank you very much for having the opportunity, and I'm really open to tune into the questions that there are. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Leon, very much, and for adjusting so well to the time. I remind you that you can leave your questions or comments in our chat. You can do it now, or so we can pass them to our panelists during our Q&A session. Now we continue with Daniel from of Port Excel. Daniel, the floor is yours.
Sí, muchas gracias, Alison. Muchas gracias por la invitación de presentar Port Excel hoy. Voy a continuar en inglés porque es más fácil para mí. My name is Daniel Sonneveld. I represent Port Excel, and I'm responsible for international business development. And I wanted to give you a glance and an overview of what Port Excel is. And I hope that I can also see the next slide, please. I also see in my screen, yes, no, it's good right now. So yes, Port Excel is a typical startup accelerator for the maritime industry. We were actually one of the first also for this industry, founded in 2016 in Rotterdam. We see ourselves as a global entrepreneurship hub for startups and scale-ups in the logistics, maritime and energy sector. And it's our mission to innovate ports for sustainable growth. So what Port Excel basically does is that we search worldwide for startups, solutions from startups that we match to the partners, the corporate partners of Port Excel, for them to be able to innovate together with our corporate partners to develop pilot projects, and in the end, sign contracts so they can cooperate together. Next slide, please. So a typical program at Port Excel looks like this, and normally we would always do these programs physically, but of course this year has been a little bit different. So this year the scouting part and the searching part happens in the traditional way, and we also organized the selection days in Rotterdam in February. We had 30 to 40 startups in Rotterdam presenting their innovations. But at the moment where we really started and selected the startups in our program, we actually had 27 startups and scale-ups in our program. We launched the program fully digitally due to the COVID situation. And also the end event when the startups and the corporate partners present the pilot projects together happens digitally this year. So normally we have a shakedown event, a demo day where we present all the pilot projects. We did it digitally this year and we called it the shake-up event. Yeah, and when these startups run through our program and when they collaborate with our partners, in the end, they have to scale their business after they come out of the program, but they will stay ambassadors for Port Excel and we will stay ambassadors for our alumni, obviously. Next slide, please. So if we look back at Port Excel, 5 years, a lot of numbers here to mention, but I think one of the important ones to highlight is that we have quite a high survival rate for Port Excel alumni, 92%. And for you who have a little bit of an idea of the startup industry, many startups fail to survive the first 2, 3, 5 years. So we're very proud that many of the startups from our program, 92%, are still out there on the market, still innovating with maritime partners over there. Next slide, please. We see the ports sector basically as an ecosystem, as a network, and we have partners of which the Port of Rotterdam, our founding partner, one of the most important ones, is one of them. But we also have partners from the chemicals and refinery industry, such as Vopak and Shell. We have parties such as Van Oort, Boskalis. So the sector is pretty broad, and we also always look for innovations from startups and scale-ups with an application, a solution for these industries. Next slide, please. And just to give you a glance of and an example of some of the technologies and solutions from our program, this is Ram Marine startup, which is actually a scale-up right now because they're doing very well also internationally. They developed an automated drone for cleaning port waters called the Waste Shark. And they're doing very well. They're actually also now developing an oil shark to clean oil spills from port water. So they're doing good, and we're very proud with Ram Marine as one of the alumni of PortXL. Next one, please. Another example is wheel washing. They developed a sort of a car wash for ships. Biofouling for vessels is a huge problem for corrosion problems for vessels, also for increased fuel consumption. So they developed a smart cleaning mechanism for large vessels to be cleaned. And also they are doing very well at this point. They're not from the Netherlands, but actually from Italy. But also to give you an example that many of the startups come from other countries as well besides the Netherlands. Next slide, please. And another example is Green Sea Guards. They developed and they install equipment for vessels to analyze emissions of vessels and to monitor data, which is very important for ship owners, but as well for port authorities in these days. Next slide, please. Oh, you have to do a couple of clicks, please. Yes. Just a few more. One more. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, just to give you an idea, because we started in Rotterdam with our program already for our running towards our 6th year right now. We also have experience running PortXL programs in Singapore and Antwerp. And there's a lot of interest for PortXL building startup ecosystems in other international port regions as well. We're actually working now and collaborating with the Port of Auckland in New Zealand and the Port of Quebec to also support them and help them set up their own accelerator to also become a part of the PortXL network. So yeah, we see that there's a lot of demand for startups, maritime innovation, and we are very open to help international regions to develop these innovation ambitions. Actually, last week we had an event with Panama, which was also very interesting. So Latin America definitely is an exciting region to get to know, and I think Colombia is also, there are also opportunities there to collaborate with Colombia. Next slide, please. And this is already my final one. This was in February, where my colleague Kees Willem and I, we visited Israel as well as Cyprus to present PortXL and do some workshops with the local maritime ecosystem over there. Obviously the traveling and meeting physically is very difficult right now, but I'm happy to connect with you also after this session. So if you're interested to learn more about PortXL and what we do, feel free to reach out and let's stay in touch. Thank you again for the opportunity to present.
Thank you. Thank you, Daniel. That has been quite instructive for all of us. To move forward with this varied group of companies, we give the floor to Ms. van der Wiel on behalf of Portbase.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, to start off, many thanks to the organizers for inviting me to this inspiring webinar. It's a pleasure for me to be able to show how Portbase is helping making the Dutch ports the smartest in Europe. Well, if you can start the presentation. Well, in preparation to this event, I noticed the port of Cartagena in Colombia has the highest port connectivity in Latin America and the Caribbean, according to UNCTAD. I hope to say that the port of Rotterdam has the highest port connectivity in Europe. However, the port of Antwerp has just passed us. So in order to get back to first place in Europe, that's exactly where Port Community System can help. Port Community System is a basis in a port and can help an ecosystem of smart solutions, such as the systems of TechPlay, Port Exchange, which will follow by Dieter Bruin, and well, of course, also the startups and the scale-ups of Port Excel. They can all build on that solid platform that a port community system is. Well, Mr. Gommers of the Port of Rotterdam has already told you about some of the benefits of a port community system for the Dutch ports and the vision towards the next generation of port community systems. But I will give you some more background on the specifics of Portbase as the port community system for the Dutch ports. So Portbase is the national port community system for the Dutch seaports. It's not just an IT company. Our aim is really to optimize logistics flows through the Dutch ports and to help create the smartest ports in Europe. One of the most important thing a port community system, or especially the company around it is doing, is connecting parties. Knowing and understanding the business is key. That is why of our company, only 50% of our staff is in IT, and the other 50% is therefore building communities, facilitating discussions between logistics parties, aligning business and IT goals. So yeah, that's one of the most important things that a port community system also offers, to connect parties. Well, one of the most important features of Portbase is that we are neutral and non-profit. We have been set up in 2002 as a public utility company with 2 public shareholders now. The Port of Rotterdam is 75% shareholder of us, and Port of Amsterdam 25%. And we are neutral in a way that we treat all our clients the same. So our governance model consists of a strategic advisory board. We have customer panels, working groups, and they all consist of a variety of port companies. And that's very important when you set up the governance for a port community system, that it is seen as a neutral body, the port. Well, next to this, Portbase has the ambition to connect to the rest of the world by exchanging knowledge, but also more and more by exchanging logistics information. And this was one of the reasons why Portbase, together with 5 other port community systems, founded the International Port Community Systems Association. That's 10 years ago now. IPCSA now has about 50 members from all around the world sharing knowledge and work together. And could you go one slide back? Yeah, so this is basically the reason why you need a port community system, because goods go through your port, and the goods itself, the physical flow, is one-way traffic. They go from seller or factory towards an end client, the buyer. And they go from point to point to point. But in the entire flow, you have so much information exchange between all those parties. And next slide, please. If you visualize that, you see that all the parties working within port have bilateral communications, bilateral agreements. And if you don't structure that in a sensible way, they all have their own IT connections and all their own information exchange, where you don't have real good reuse of the information that's already there in the system. So next slide, please. So that is why Portbase was founded, to connect all the parties in port in one place and to make reuse of the information that's already there. Of course, on a trust basis. So all the information in the system is still owned by the data owner. Portbase doesn't own the information. We are trusted with the information by the original data owner. Well, we've been doing that now for almost 20 years. And at this moment, we have 4,200 organizations as our clients. I think it's growing every day by 10 or 20 organizations at this moment. And we handle over 100 million transactions a year for the Dutch seaports. Next slide, please. Well, to give you an overview about our current community, the clients we have, so those 4,700 clients, they are divided in, well, the real big parties, the shipping lines that go through the ports. Of course, the nautical services that operate in the port, the authorities that need to receive all the declarations, so your customs, the port authority itself, the food and health authority. And I think one of the most important assets in the port, the terminals, where all the goods are being well, unloaded, loaded, transshipped, etc. And the real big numbers of a port community, they consist of the parties transporting goods from and to the port. So the transport companies, the freight forwarders handling everything, and well, the shippers, of course, who need to get a good supply chain visibility on what's happening throughout the port. Well, this concludes my presentation. If you have some more questions, please ask, and we will get back to you later in the morning.
Thank you very much, Miss. Now we continue with the presentation of Mr. Frank on behalf of Terbeck and Global Port Equipment. So Frank, the floor is yours. Frank?
I forgot, now I have to start again. Sorry for that. So good morning, my name is Frank. You hear me now? You hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I had a problem with the mic here. Good morning, my name is Frank Wouters and I'm the Managing Director of Global Port Equipment. Unfortunately, I had to shut down my camera because the internet is too unstable here. Thank you very much for inviting us and giving us the possibility to present ourselves in this event. Global Port Equipment is a daughter company from the Amsterdam-based Forklift Center Group. It is a worldwide operating company with a focus on sale, rental and service of container handlers, forklifts and industrial equipment. In Colombia itself, we have a company called Global Port Equipment Colombia, with an office in Cartagena run by my colleague Carlos Hugo Sanchez and myself. Can we move to the next slide, please? Okay, thank you. Better together. What do we mean by this? It means we are not only an equipment supplier, we offer the complete package of expertise, experience, all-around service and parts supply. In our portfolio of products, we only have AAA brands with delivering first-class equipment, and we connect the end user with the right people. In other words, we act like the glue between user and manufacturer. Can we get to the next, please? As we already said, Global Port Equipment is the exclusive dealer for some of the highest quality brands in port equipment. But we will talk more about this later in the presentation. But this means that through Global Port Equipment, you have access to short supply lines and a wide variety of products, whether you buy, lease or rent, because we indeed offer different financial options. Also, transportation is under our control. We have our own in-house logistics to assure a smooth and swift delivery of your machines, no matter where in the world. Can we take it to the next slide, please? Service, very important. To guarantee a maximum uptime of your equipment, when you buy from us, we offer you a full service partnership. This we do through our own team of specialized mechanics, ready to assist you with professional advice. Furthermore, we also supply an endless range of spare parts, not limited to the brands we represent, but also for most other brands as well. And if necessary, if really necessary, we will fly out our mechanics to make sure your machine is up and running again in no time. Can we move to the next, please? Okay. Global knowledge, local performance. It's a bit of a cliche, but global port equipment is active worldwide, but it's also very important to be available locally. So our aim is to build a strong relation, giving you the benefit of a short supply line and a personal approach. With our Global Knowledge Center in Amsterdam, we offer the possibility of training for your people. This is how we share our expertise and ensure the highest level of know-how is also available to our customers. On top of this, we also have a service center through local presence in Panama and Cartagena, Colombia. Can we move to the next, please? As the focus of this event is on digitalization, Global Port Equipment offers an all-inclusive solution for the follow-up of your entire fleet, namely the AMC, which stands for Assembly Maintenance Control. It consists of a mobile workshop equipped with all special tools and spare parts to cover the maximum of your maintenance and repairs. This container also has on board a computer with software which connects you with your equipment and keeps you up to date of what happens to your equipment. It also helps you to organize your maintenance planning. But better than words, will the following movie tell you all about AMC? Can we click on the movie, please?
Global Port Equipment introduces the AMC Mobile Unit, a container fully equipped with customized tools, parts, and a control unit to connect with your equipment. It tells you in real time about its condition. Tools and parts cover about 80% of your preventive and corrective maintenance. The AMC Portal software tells you everything about the condition of the machine and helps to minimize repairs. Alert messages give you intel about defects or regular maintenance. It can be connected with your IT system and is available on any mobile device.
Thank you. And now we get to the next item. So as we said, sorry, can you hold on with the movie for a moment? Hello. Sorry, go back. Okay, sorry. So as we said in the beginning of the presentation, Global Port Equipment represents some of the major players on the field of container and material handling equipment. So the first brand we want to present to you is Mancinen. And Mancinen offers material handlers and mobile harbor cranes from 50 to 300 ton, not only for bulk, but also now the biggest crane for container handling. When it comes to digitalization, Mancinen has the inside lead by data system. The next movie will show you more about this ingenious system. And after the meeting, my colleague Juan, who is a specialist at the Mancinen, will be more than happy to answer all your questions about Mancinen. Now you can start the movie, please.
Mancinen Insight is a cloud-based service that collects data from over 150 different outputs in a material handler. It collects data from the Volvo Penta engine management system and the whole CAN bus of the machine, making it one of the most comprehensive follow-up services on the market. Insight enables you to track one machine, one fleet, or several fleets, wherever you are, regardless of time and place. You can follow the productivity of your fleet and get all the service codes and announcements instantly. This enables you to plan the repairs, services, and possible downtime. Each user gets user group specific information. Their professional know-how and performance can be improved based on data provided by the Insight. To summarize, get the most out of your fleet. Improve your knowledge. Perform better. Lead by data with Mancinen Insight.
Thank you so much. Now, another AAA brand we represent is Konecranes. And since 1959, I believe, Konecranes is one of the world's leading manufacturers of heavy forklifts and container handling equipment. When it comes to digitalization and automation, I believe Konecranes is for sure one of the most advanced in the world. Now, my colleague Andres Ramirez, sales manager Latin America for Konecranes, can tell you more about it, and he is also available after the meeting to answer any question you may have. I would now like to give the floor to Andres, please. Andres Ramirez.
Buenos días a todos. ¿Me escuchan?
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Andres. Just to remind you, we just have 1 more minute to close this presentation.
Sure. Yeah, no worries, no worries.
But still, I already, sorry to interrupt, but I already informed that we need a couple of minutes more since we represent 4 or 5 companies. So okay, we need a little bit more time, please. Okay, thank you.
Sure. It will be quick. Bueno, buenos días a todos. Ya saben, soy Andrés Ramírez. Voy a hacer la presentación en inglés y después nos vemos para cualquier pregunta. ¿Listo? Son 2 slides y va a ser rápido. Good morning, everyone. So here I am talking about Konecranes and smart connected lift trucks. Everyone is and every equipment is smart today, or kind of smart. But what we try to do at Konecranes is do the equipment smart, connected us with the whole data that you really need. Could you please move on? Okay, exactly. So one of the problems and one of the situations we have on the digital ports is data, big data, a lot of amounts of information that we need to handle. And that's one of the drivers of Konecranes. We need to handle that data in the best way for the customers. And that's why I just wanted to point out 3 things that we could offer on those machines, on our equipment. First is your Konecranes, which is the web-based platform, is the state of the art, one of the most exciting developments in the company in Konecranes. Then you have remote monitoring, so that's True Connect, exactly to know what's happening with your truck. And finally, we have apps to also keep up with the equipment. That's one of them is called Checkup, is to doing the daily inspection or with your mobile phone or your device that you have. So this is the summary of my presentation. So thank you very much for everything, and I will be here to answer questions.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Andres and Frank, for your complete presentation.
Yes, but let's move to just a couple of slides further. I want to say something about Terberg, and then we will finish.
Okay, sure.
So if you go a little bit lower, there you see Terberg. So we also represent Terberg Special Vehicles, and that's Europe's biggest and most advanced producer of terminal tractors. And now next, if you move, I would like to show you a little movie of you say autotruck, an automated vehicle. You can start the movie, please. Okay, thank you so much. I wish I had some more time because we had something prepared about the difference between automated tractors and autonomous tractors, but anyhow, time is too short. I also would have loved to show the Forklift Center movie, but I thank you all. I hope you have learned a little bit more about digitalization, automation. And special thanks to my colleague Ur in Amsterdam, who helped me to put this presentation together. Thanks again for watching, and remember, we are there after the event to answer all your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks to you, Frank and Andres, for your presentation. Now, to close this round of presentation, we give the floor to Dita Breen on behalf of the company Port Exchange. Dita.
Sí, muchas gracias. Buenos días a todos. Voy a hacer mi presentación en castellano. Mi nombre es Dita Breen y soy directora de operaciones en Port Exchange. Y Port Exchange empezó como un proyecto en el puerto de Rotterdam. Hicimos varios proyectos ahí en optimizar recaladas portuarias, bajar emisiones y mejorar la eficiencia. Y después el puerto de Rotterdam dijo que optimizar la industria marítima no es algo que lo tenemos que hacer como puerto, sino es algo que tenemos que hacer como industria. Y por eso ahora somos una empresa separada, independiente y neutro para también poner disponible la plataforma a otros puertos y a otras empresas en la industria. Siguiente slide, por favor. Gracias. Port Exchange es una plataforma que consiste de varios niveles. El primer nivel siempre es que digitalizamos todas las locaciones que hay en el puerto. Eso significa que digitalizamos los terminales, área de anclaje, muelles, bulwarks, o sea, toda la infraestructura que hay, lo digitalizamos y lo ponemos en un mapa. Encima de eso ponemos el señal AIS para saber dónde están todas las naves en cualquier momento. Y encima de eso también ponemos 3 niveles con planificaciones y con tiempos reales de todas las empresas que están colaborando en un proceso, una recalada portuaria. Y toda esta información en conjunto crea una imagen real-time en que todo el mundo siempre puede ver cuál es el estatus de su embarque, dónde está la nave, cuándo llega, cuándo zarpa, y esa información te permite tomar mejores decisiones en cada momento. Encima de eso también aplicamos tecnologías como Machine Learning y con eso podemos hacer predicciones. Predicciones, por ejemplo, cuando va a llegar una nave y también cuando va a haber alguna demora. Y con esa información puedes tomar acción ya mucho más temprano en el proceso y también puedes tomar decisiones mucho más informadas porque ya tienes más información. Port Exchange es una plataforma que funciona en cualquier puerto, puertos pequeños o grandes, no importa, y también funciona para cualquier tipo de carga, porque consideramos que el puerto es un ecosistema en que todo tiene influencia en todo. Entonces no puedes separar contenedores o carga seca, porque estas naves también pueden tener influencia en otras naves. El siguiente slide, por favor. Para poder hacer una implementación de Port Exchange, tenemos que colaborar. Y en este momento, la industria está hablando mucho de colaboración y de digitalización, pero eso es la práctica en que realmente un proceso conjunto se tiene que mejorar también en conjunto con todas estas empresas que trabajan juntos. Y todas estas empresas tienen que compartir sus datos y también tiene que dar acceso a sus datos para crear esta imagen, este single point of truth, para poder tomar acción y para poder bajar emisiones y para poder mejorar la eficiencia. Y hay beneficios para todos realmente, pero los beneficios son diferentes para cada empresa. Para la línea naviera se puede mejorar el consumo de bunker, de combustible, y también se puede bajar las emisiones. La autoridad portuaria puede tener mejor predictibilidad de cuándo llegan las naves, qué va a pasar, y también puede bajar su port turnaround time. Los terminales, ahí vemos que podemos bajar bastante tiempo de espera antes y después de las operaciones de carga, y también que se puede bajar los costos de demurrage. Y también hay muchos beneficios para las agencias y los proveedores de servicios en los puertos. En general hay beneficios entonces para todos. El siguiente, por favor. Eso es el alcance de Port Exchange y realmente va desde el zarpe del puerto anterior hasta la llegada al área de anclaje o pilot boarding place, visita al terminal y después zarpe desde el puerto. Entonces pone en el centro del proceso la nave y todas las actividades que hay en la recalada portuaria. Y ponemos sub-KPIs en cada paso de la visita para que después cada empresa pueda mejorar sus core KPIs, pero sí también medimos la eficiencia total de la recalada portuaria y eso también da un objetivo compartido para todos los que están trabajando en este proceso conjuntos. El siguiente, por favor. Eso es un ejemplo de lo que puedes lograr con Port Exchange. La UMI, o IMO en inglés, está hablando mucho de just-in-time arrivals y eso significa que con mejor comunicación entre el puerto y la nave, y más que nada en los últimos 48 horas antes de la llegada de la nave, que puedes bajar las emisiones innecesarias. Entonces, si hay algún cambio en el puerto o en el terminal, y por ejemplo, la hora de llegada ya no va a ser las 2, pero va a ser las 4 de la tarde, es importante que la nave, que el capitán lo sabe, para que él pueda bajar su velocidad. Y eso es un buen ejemplo, es la aplicación en que puedes ver cuál ha sido la velocidad óptima, que es la línea verde, y cuál ha sido la velocidad actual, que es la línea azul. Y la diferencia entre estas dos líneas básicamente es lo que se puede mejorar y lo que se puede ahorrar en términos de costos, pero también en términos de emisiones. Y para el puerto también está muy importante y cada vez más importante la emisión de NOx, que también se puede mejorar con esta información. Siguiente slide, por favor. Sí, la plataforma también da avisos a los usuarios por correo electrónico dentro de la plataforma. Y esos son unos ejemplos que cuando, por ejemplo, hay diferencia en la hora de zarpe entre el terminal y agencia, que es algo que se tiene que investigar y tiene que tal vez tomar acción y ajustar el tiempo de llegada o de zarpe. O también si la posición de la nave no corresponde entre terminal y agencia o autoridad portuaria, es algo que se puede ajustar y después cambiar. Es importante mencionar que toda la información entra al sistema con APIs, y que nadie tiene que ingresar algo manualmente porque eso sería mucho más trabajo y es lo último que quieres en un puesto operacional. Siguiente. Esos son unos resultados que hemos logrado en Rotterdam. Por ejemplo, había muchas demoras por combustible, por operación de combustible en APMT en Rotterdam, y hemos hecho un proyecto piloto con Maersk, con Inchcape y con APMT, y ahí creamos un aviso en que avisamos cuando había o iba a haber una demora causada por combustible. Y con eso los operadores podrían ya reprogramar las operaciones de combustible o cancelarlas, y con eso hemos mejorado desde 19% de las naves que estaban demorados a 0%. Entonces es un muy buen resultado. Y de esta forma hemos hecho varios proyectos piloto con Just-in-Time Arrival, con tiempo de espera, y todos con buenos resultados. Y ahora también estamos haciendo proyectos en otros puertos, en Felixstowe, en Algeciras, en Houston, y en el puerto de Moerdijk. Muchas gracias por su tiempo, y cualquier pregunta, por favor, avísame.
Thank you very much, Dita, and everyone for such detailed and interesting presentations. Surely our guests will be very interested in knowing more about your companies, so please do not hesitate to leave your comments or questions in our chat for the following question and answer session. So any question will be communicated to our panelists. We have some questions already. So the first question is, some of you mentioned Panama. So what are the steps they are taking in digitalizations? So, and if any of our panelists wants to answer these questions, please feel free to do it. Maybe some of you.
Well, I'm not. Of course, we are a supplier of PSA in Panama, but so far on digitalization, on our domain, meaning equipment, so far not a lot has been done. There are plans for the future to implement our AMC system to keep full control of the equipment, but it's only talking. For the rest, nothing has been concrete. But hopefully in the future we will be able to sell our mobile system to a PSA. For the rest, I don't know yet. On the port itself, it's not my domain, so I cannot say anything about it.
Okay, thank you very much, Frank. Any of you wants to answer about Panama? What steps are being taken in digitalization?
Well, maybe I just want to reply that last week we had a very interesting event with a couple of parties also from the Panama ecosystem. We had FOPAC Panama presenting a challenge. We had the Panama Canal also presenting a challenge, and the innovation challenges were fairly different from each other, but I definitely think that there can be some digital solutions to those challenges. One of them was actually like whale migration in the Panama waters, and the policy that the vessels have to reduce their speeds before entering the Panama Canal. So they also want to, they're starting a project also focused on data emission analysis and monitoring. And they were also reaching out to us asking from, do you have solutions to our challenge? So we're helping them also to make some matches there. And maybe from the other panelists, maybe you also see some possible linkages to these challenges. And you can have a look at these challenges also on our PortXL website.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Daniel. Here we have another question. In port automation in Colombia, who of you have already worked here in Colombia?
Well, we have been talking again to some of the ports in Barranquilla, for example, again about the system for the follow-up of their equipment. But again, there it's also it's because of the COVID and everything has been put on hold. But also in Colombia, we are talking to some parties to let's say automate the follow-up of the equipment, and also we are offering complete leasing programs of equipment, including service, including the mobile workshop, including the track unit system, the MC unit. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Frank.
If I may add something on that matter. So Konecranes has been working for several years in Colombia. We have several products. I am responsible for the lift trucks segment, but on the RTGs and the big crane segment, I know for a couple of projects that we are running out. One of them is the automation of RTGs in Puerto Cartagena, in Contecar, sorry. And this project has been rolling for almost 2.5 years, 3 years, and we already have automated the existing RTGs. One thing is to sell an RTG already automated from the factory. This is one challenge. But another challenge is to automate an existing RTG or existing crane on the port. So that's what we are doing, and we have had a successful test, and right now they are trying to scale up this project. So we are present on the automation in Colombia, and this is one of the examples.
Okay, thank you very much. We have another question, and this is specifically for Daniel of PortExcel. So Daniel, is there currently any internship exchange with Colombia or any Latin America accelerator right now, currently?
There are many contacts right now on the port authority level, but also on accelerator level. Our focus in the beginning was more on Europe, but we see that the interest comes from a lot of international regions as well. So last week we connected with the Panama ecosystem, which was a good experience, and maybe we can plan some follow-up activities after that session. But we're also in very good contact with Delta X Ventures. I know German is also in this call. The idea is also, I think, first to connect and to get to know each other better. You can always connect and exchange knowledge on startup profiles, for example. But yeah, having a discussion on how to collaborate as accelerators and see how to expand to the Colombian region would be a very interesting one also to follow up with local Colombian partners such as Delta X.
Mm-hmm. Actually, that was like the second part of the question. How can PortExcel contribute to the country's sports sector, bearing in mind that there are already a few initiatives for startups in the country and the region, as for example, Delta X?
Yeah, I think it's never good to try to introduce something that is already there. So it's maybe good to see how you can complement and collaborate on an accelerator level if the initiatives locally are already doing a good job. We see that some of the port regions who really have the ambitions in setting up a complete new accelerator and collaborating with an ecosystem the way we do it or have done it for the last 5 years in Rotterdam. We feel that we can really share our experiences, our methodologies, as well as the startups, obviously, in our network to also be introduced to their network, their ecosystem, and to see if we can connect the innovations with local challenge owners in Latin America. So, but for that to happen, you really need to understand the region. You really need to get in touch and understand what the complexities are locally, because we also believe that there's no one-size-fits-all copy-paste solution from how it works in Rotterdam to other regions as well. So that takes time and also some exploration.
Great. Thank you very much, Daniel. Well, we had more questions, but time is short. So after the event, we will share the data of each of our speakers, and you can ask your questions directly to them. So we will transfer their contact details. We thank you very much to all for your participation in this very important session, from which we hope future alliances may arise that continue to strengthen the relationship, the Dutch-Colombian relation in the automation and port digitalization sector. So please, a happy rest of the day for those who are in Colombia, and a happy ending of the afternoon for those who are in the Netherlands. So thank you very much for joining us today.